Hello, and welcome to another episode of Safi Talks. Today I'm with Moana, and we're going to be talking about what is our purpose? How do you find your purpose? Do you ever feel lost? Do you ever feel like you're constantly looking for who you are? Well, then this might be the episode for you. So I hope you enjoy. Listen carefully because you never know if you're going to be able to find the answer to your question on today's episode.
One person though had like a hateful comment for you. I was like, what the hell?
Oh my God. All right, might as well start with that.
There's always
So
gonna be one. There's always gonna
there
be
was gonna be
one.
haters, right? There was always gonna be haters. Yeah, no, at first that same person even commented on the YouTube video. Um,
Wow.
and I also took the time to go into my Shopify webpage and actually contact me and send me a email through there, which is what I posted on my Instagram story. So
Right.
oh my God. I was in the middle of like playing video games with my friends and I we just died laughing. That was the most funniest thing I've ever gotten in my life. I'm
I
like,
mean,
he
it's
was saying
funny, but
boy and
evil.
girl. No,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah. I'm like, like this person kept saying boy and girl, and I'm like, wait, are we talking about me, Maona? Like, what's going on? Like, because like, who did you go to? Like, because you could have clicked on your link on your bio or my link in my bio, and it was just like everywhere. So I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Yeah,
But
that's crazy.
um, but yeah, no, that was the weirdest thing ever. Hateful, yes. Do I care?
Mhm.
No.
That's good.
That made my night because I was just laughing. Um, and yeah, so whatever.
That's good not to let that like get to you and affect you, let it roll
No,
off.
yeah, I think one of the biggest things you have to have is the thick skin when you're gonna do like social media because you're always gonna get hate, right, on social media.
Yeah.
People are always gonna judge you for how you write or what you say, what you post, and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
you can't care, right? That's if you care, if you live your life caring about what other people say, you're just not gonna succeed, right? You're just gonna live in people's shadows.
Right. You're gonna let them affect the way you progress.
Yeah, exactly. But
I had to learn that the hard way because I mean, when I first started my Instagram, like I had a lot of hateful comments, like just, about, like you said, the way I ride or what I'm wearing, or just because my video is pointless or whatever it may be. And I would get mad at first and I kind of would like engage in the argument, in the comments, and I would let it affect me. Like my day would be ruined, So as time went on and like I got more and more of those, I kind of, grew to understand that, okay, this is going to happen no matter what it is or what I wear or what I look like or how I ride. There's always going to be like some type of negative feedback.
yeah, you're always gonna get that hate, no matter what. Everything you do in life, you're gonna get judged for, whether that's your job, your bosses, even family members, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna keep getting judged no matter what you do with your life, and you just gotta do you. You can't
Right.
care about what other people think because you're just not gonna go far, right?
Yeah, in the end, they aren't, paying your bills or creating your life for you. So you're right. You just can't let them affect you.
Exactly, I agree. But yeah, no, I want to say about the merch because it was about the merch. It's just, there was hate, but
Yeah.
no, honestly, I've been seeing what you've been posting. Great video, by the way. I really
Awesome. Thank you.
appreciate that. That was awesome. The transition from throwing it up in the air to having it on,
Yeah.
amazing. I love it.
Thank you.
Did you know how to do that? Or you looked it up and like you had to.
I just did like 5 or 6 takes. I just, I guess I had it in mind from, I don't know, seeing it prior
Uh,
or,
you had this
but
on mind?
yeah, like I knew I had to do some type of transition. That's why I opened the box there at the mailbox and everything. I was like, nah, I'm gonna,
Okay. That's
So yeah,
fire.
I
That's
just did
fire.
like 5 or 6 takes of like throwing it up in the air and then, with it on just jumping.
Nice. No,
Yeah.
that was great. Yeah. The only thing I will ask though, is for the people that have bought merch. I would like everybody to start sending pictures of them wearing it, whatever, even if you're at the gym or whatever. So I can start sharing it on the new page. I do
Yeah.
have a new page, stayresilient.sr, which is a new merch page. I want to put everything that's for merch there and separate my bike stuff on my main page.
I
So
see.
yeah, we're gonna start doing that. And yeah, a lot of people have gotten their stuff already, right? I think we're already 20 products in already.
Nice.
Yes, so we're doing amazing. Honestly, it's been a great journey. There's
Awesome.
more people buying still. I think there's 3 more orders that I still have to send out. Um, so yeah,
Oh
going
my
great.
gosh. Yeah, that's so awesome. I mean, I didn't expect to get so much support from like the handful of people that I know that really like they always have my back. So it's like for them to, get the merch and wear it, like surprise me with it. It was just like it just shocked me. I was like, "Yes, thank you so much."
Your client, because you sent the video or you made the video of your client wearing it.
Yeah.
Like she just showed up there with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think she did mention to me, I forgot what she said, but she mentioned it that day when she was on her way.
Uh, yeah. No, that was cool. That was like I looked at it and I'm like, wow, like that's just cool. Just to think about people having your name like on their shirt and like around the world is crazy. Crazy.
Right. It is.
Yeah, so yeah, so if we can get some pictures, that would be amazing so I can start sharing them.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, for sure this weekend I'm gonna take some pictures. I haven't yet because I had to wash it. When it's brand new, it kind of still has some,
yeah.
kinks. So
So
um
whoever's listening to this and has bought merch, there's a specific way of washing your stuff, right? You don't want to wash it in hot water. Wash it
mhm.
in warm to cold water. Don't put a lot of detergent. And also, when you are drying it up in the machine, you always use low heat. Do not use high heat. That will ruin it. Or just air dry it. Some people like to air dry their clothes. So, that's one way to wash it. So it can last.
Right. Good to know. Good
Mhm.
to know, especially the no hot water, because I think that'll make it fade too, right? And
Yes, yes.
the design part will kind of get too soft. But I feel like after I washed it and dried it, it felt more pliable. It didn't like wrinkle or anything, so that it was awesome.
Mhm.
It looks
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
No, they're good quality hoodies and everything, and the sweatshirts and the shirts, amazing quality.
they feel great.
Um, yeah, just at first when you get it's a fresh new product, so obviously it's gonna be kind of like stiff. So
Yeah.
that's normal. Um, but yeah, I also wanted to say you have such a big support in your community. I just want to say you have had like like 8 people already. Um, 8 people from Hawaii only that have already bought merch from there. So
Nice.
yeah, you have a really big support system over there.
Love my Hawaii people.
So
Right
that's good.
on.
So today we're going to be talking about purpose. I think purpose is one of the biggest things that I think everybody thinks about as they grow up, right?
Yes.
Because we get asked as kids, who do we want to become when we grow up?
Right.
And some of us don't want to be a nurse or a firefighter, a cop, and all those stuff, right? And as you get older, you see that you know the world is a little bit more harder than just becoming something in life, right? There's a lot of obstacles, there's challenges, there's things that happen to you that prevent you from doing what you love sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, so finding purpose. So I just want to read a quote actually. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by the lack of meaning and purpose, right? And I think a lot of us are unhappy, right? We are unhappy with life. A lot of us are just
Yeah.
because, we are stressed all the time or we're constantly trying to find ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And now, today's generation, mental health is such a big thing now, right? All we really see, especially in the bike community, we see people posting about, going fast on their bike about, they feel numb or they feel sad, depressed because they broke up with somebody or, anything like that, right? But mental health is everywhere, even in romance movies, everything, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, so I wanted to talk about, you know, have you found your purpose? That's something that I want to ask you. So if you want to tell me.
I feel like becoming a personal trainer was kind of my purpose, honestly. And I've only been certified for 6 years, so it took me a while to find that purpose. And I think prior to that, I was just a mom. I worked like in an office for a bottled water company. Like I did administration work, but I was mostly just a mom and like taking care of my kids. And I remember there was a point where my younger daughter was not a baby anymore. So I had more time for myself. And for just a little while, I was kind of wasting some time. And then that's when I started realizing, like, okay, like I should do something with a purpose. And losing weight and stuff was part of that whole journey. And it just all came together. Like I was telling you in the last episode, the purpose of it is to help other people realize that they don't have to settle for what they are currently if they're not happy with it. I
Yeah.
guess in the fitness category, but I think that applies for everything else in life.
You're right. I think that as human beings, we experience so much change, right? And we go through so much in life that it creates a new person within us, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people are scared of change. We will say that. But it's good. I think change is really important because you adapt to new things in life. And yeah, so, I think that if you were if you're just not happy, like you said, become someone better. It's okay to find a different purpose in life.
Yes.
Um, yeah, because like, so for me, right, I've always struggled with finding purpose, right? Because growing up for me was more, I would work, go to school, and go home, and that was like for many years it was like that, right? I didn't have anything really going on except for like playing sports in school and stuff like that, but I didn't really have a purpose, right? I was just living, I guess you can just say, right?
Right.
And no social life either growing up, but after like going through a really like I guess you could say very depressive phase of my life, and before going to therapy and stuff like that, um that's when I really realized that I didn't have anything really going for me, right? Because when you go to school, or for us, like when we go to school and stuff, we do it for a reason, right? The main reason usually is to, I guess you could say, please our parents, right?
Right.
And we're constantly trying to become somebody who our parents wants us to be. Like,
Right.
oh, I want you to become a lawyer or a doctor and do this and that, right? But we go to school because we want to like make them happy, right? We don't want them, we don't want to become as a failure to them, right? So yeah, so for me, when I went to college, that was the thing, right? I wanted to become a cop. That was my purpose. I was working hard towards that goal. But then when I saw that I couldn't do that anymore and I decided to, had a change of heart, I decided that, like, what am I going to do now? What am I, what's there to be with me now, right?
Hmm.
And, when I hit that rock bottom and I went to therapy, my therapist made me realize that, I have to do something for myself. I had to not please my parents, but start this like self-discovery journey on my own. And I had to like learn life on my own. And I think that's super important. And, that's what led to me, starting the motorcycle, right? I started doing social media, and that goes back to, not being scared what other people are gonna say, because back then social media or posting on TikTok, it was kind of cringy, right? I'd like, oh, what are you riding a motorcycle on a helmet, and like you never show your face and none of that stuff, right? So it was like cringy back then. But yeah, so it's just like you just have to like, you know, find something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's almost like how we talked about last time is just trying different things that you're interested in. And
Hmm.
instead of pleasing someone else, like your parents, you know, because I feel like that is exactly what happened with me and my daughter. My oldest daughter is 25 this year. And, you know, when she was in high school, she wanted to be like a reporter or a journalist or like on the news, you know, news
Hmm.
casting, I guess. And I was like all for it, you know, I was like, yeah, that, you know, you would do great. And then, on the other side of the family, they didn't like that and they kind of pushed her and urged her to be something else, like an architect. So then she started taking classes to do that. And like, I can just tell, you know, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're not going to be happy. It's going to be like a job for the rest of your life. So you need to make sure that that's something that you want to do. Like for me, I have no problem with Monday because I want to go work out with my client, you know, like that
Yeah.
I chose that because I enjoy it on top of enjoying helping people. So I think that's really important when you're growing up and deciding what you're going to be or what you're going to do as a career. But not only as a career, also just in life, like for a hobby or, you know, side hustle or whatever. Like it all has to be stuff that you like to do, or else you are just going to be unhappy doing it for however long you're doing it for.
Yeah. No, I agree. Also, another fact that I see within a lot of people, around my age as well, they're letting other people be the reasoning for their purpose, right?
Yes,
And that goes back to like attachments, right? And like, in a relationship, and like I see couples that are extremely happy and there's nothing really wrong with them. Obviously, everybody's gonna have their fights or whatever, but people that are, just, happy couple, overall and everything, they're very healthy. But when you let somebody else become your world completely, you will lose yourself,
yes,
right? You will lose yourself because you don't have like sense of touch of yourself, right? You don't know who you are anymore because you're constantly with the other person and they become your purpose. And then when you lose that person or that person is not around you, or they're taking too long to text or something like that, you become very anxious and like, you just like you don't know who you are by yourself, And I think that's one thing nowadays is we're depending on a lot of people as we're growing up, right? And it's mostly because we don't have good relationships with our parents. And I think that love, when you're first introduced to love, it's by your parents, right? And if you don't
right.
have a healthy upcoming with love with your parents, you're not really gonna have a good record with healthy relationships, right? Because you're gonna go through a lot of trial and errors with relationships, right? And you're gonna teach yourself, even though it's gonna be very hurtful and so many heartbreaks and stuff, but you're gonna learn what true love is, and true love is not always just happy moments. It's a commitment, right? Love is an action. It's not, not butterflies, every day. But
Right.
yeah, so like I feel like people's purpose, what I'm seeing nowadays is just depending on somebody else. And I won't lie, I had that phase in my life, right? Because I didn't have a good relationship with my parents, didn't really spend time with them, or, didn't have that really love, mother to son or father to son connection. So for so many years, you know, as I was growing up, I was in relationships all the time and I would get really attached emotionally, right? And that goes to like a whole down effect, right? You like you can't even let go, you can't move on, and then you got like all this trauma and like, you know, but that's part of like learning, relationships and stuff. But I would become so dependent on other people, and there's this saying, right? Oh, like my purpose in relationships isn't to be like happy, it's to become the teacher for the next person to be ready for the next relationship. I don't know if you ever heard that.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So, yeah, so like for so long I felt like I was like that, right? but it was because I didn't like spend time with myself. I didn't love myself first, and I didn't go on this like self-discovery journey, right? And once you do, you're gonna learn so much about yourself, right? And and once you take that break from like trying to let so many people in and like not having a big circle of people, you learn
Mm-hmm.
so much about yourself. Like the potential that you have within yourself, and like you never know, like you can do something that you've never done before, and then it's like it becomes your whole purpose, right? Like
Right.
motorcycling, I didn't start doing that until I was 22, and before 22 I was a miserable person. Like I had no idea what like boundaries were. I didn't know what like self-respect and like all these like non-negotiable stuff that you don't want from other people. I didn't know any of this until I was 22. And because of motorcycling, like it has taught me so much about myself and what I really, really want. And like the stuff that you go through these journeys sets different factors that you want from other people, that you want for your future, for yourself, for your goal, whatever it is, right?
Right.
That's what I've been through for so much. But I will say, I definitely have not found my purpose still. Um, because there's got to be more to it, right? And I don't know about you, but I chase the high in life. I I've always been that type of person where I'm not okay with just being okay, and even though it's bad, but I like to chase the high. I like to chase life and see what's more out there, and I never get comfortable with just having what I have. And it could be a good thing, and then it can be a bad thing, and I'm always looking for what's more out there for me,
That's
you know?
really good though. That's awesome. Most people don't think outside of the box like that. Like with training. I know I always go back to this, I'm sorry, but
All right.
I feel like a lot of people, they think, okay, I want to be a personal trainer. And, the end of that dream when they look at it is working in the gym as a trainer. Like for me, I just saw way beyond that and I was like, okay, that's a step that I'm gonna take, but I want to go further than that. Like I want to have my own business. I want to have my own, facility and
Yeah.
hire my own trainers for my business. So it's like,
Is that the goal?
yeah, that's definitely the goal. Like so that I can just own I'm gonna be old, right? I'm gonna be like 80 something. I'm not gonna be training like bodybuilders at that time. So or maybe I could, I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see, we'll see.
You never know. You never know. Hey, there's
But
people out there like 90 years old and they're out doing crazy stuff out there.
that is true.
Yeah, you
That
never
is
know.
true. That is true. But ultimately, right, like as a legacy, what I would like to have is my own facility, even if it's not as big as something like a corporate, like 24, hour fitness, just something that I could pass down. And it's a business so that if my kids wanted to take over, they're just managing and owning it, and they're not having to be an actual trainer to be in the business.
That's really great. I think that like that's just going back to like, chasing the high, right? Like
Right.
you want to continue growing, especially if you're happy in what you're doing. Don't just get like comfortable. Get out of your comfort zone. Even at jobs and whatever, like don't just be an associate, push to become a supervisor or push to become a manager. Continue learning about everything in life, right?
Right.
Um, so how do you find your purpose, right? I think a lot of people are lost nowadays, right? They don't know where to start because life can be overwhelming. The way I found it is, I mean, for me, I guess I hit rock bottom. I didn't know where to go anymore because I was like, but I kept telling myself, if I'm gonna hit rock bottom, the only way I'm gonna go up is the only way I'm gonna go is up, right? So,
Right.
so I started doing different things. I started reading, right? And that's how everything started. Honestly, a lot of people don't know this, but my life changed because I started reading self-help books. And shout out to What's the Rush by Joey Kinney, super popular influencer. He has helped me so much in different perspectives in relationships, friendships, in life, literally anything. It made me realize that I wasn't alone, and a lot of people feel like this. A lot of people feel like they are still looking for who they are, right? And And it was all because of a book that helped me, try a different journey, and that was therapy. And then therapy took me to a different journey, and that was becoming a motorcycler, right? And then for motorcycle, I was happy, but it wasn't the main thing that I can like live on. So obviously, I have to continue living a different life, which is, work at my job and continue pushing myself to become more than just an associate, right? Because that's what I'm at right now. I'm trying to push to become a supervisor, and I'm learning so much, and the people are teaching me and everything, and it's amazing. But now going back to the motorcycle, I'm super happy. But what I'm doing now is I'm pushing merch. I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing something that I love, and I know that maybe it won't go crazy viral, and maybe not hundreds of thousands of people won't hear it. But if I can just impact one person, that's what makes me feel like I'm doing a great job.
Right.
And I think that's how everything starts, especially being an influencer, social media creator, whatever. If you can just impact one person, I feel like that's enough. I want to lead by example. I want people to feel like they are heard, and I want to make people feel like it's okay to not be okay, because I've been through that, right? I know that I'm always chasing my high, but I'll be honest, it gets tiring because you're always looking for who you are, and then you're overthinking constantly, and then overthinking leads to depression and anxiety, and you have mental breakdowns, and it's just like a whole spiral of things.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so it's like, I want people to start doing something, you know, because just sitting in your room and darkness and like just
Mhm.
sitting on your phone for hours and hours, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do that, but if you just push yourself to do something different, if you have a dog, take your dog out for a walk, go for ice cream, go grab a coffee with the dog, or
Right.
or just go out, go for a walk, blast some music in your ears, like do something that's gonna put a smile on your face.
Yeah. A lot of people hold themselves back from doing those things because they don't realize how much it actually impacts how they
Yes.
feel. Like going for a walk outside, oh my gosh, that can
Help.
change your mood completely by the time you're done. Like
Yes.
20 minutes, fresh air, sun, birds chirping if you have birds where you are. Um, I
What,
mean,
wait,
it
what else would
does.
it be?
No, I heard like I used to make I used to run a lot outside. Like I used to do, like 3 mile runs, right? And I would make little posts, for my fitness people. And they would always be like, because they'd be in the mainland where you're at, and they're like, we don't have birds where we're at.
Really
Yeah, like the
interesting.
the birds aren't chirping outside like they are like here, I guess. I'm not sure, but
Fair enough.
but
Oh my god. But yeah,
yeah.
no, you're right. It makes a big difference. Um, just doing something different, even if it's uncomfortable, do it. Like a lot of people are scared to go to the gym, right? Because they feel like they're gonna get judged by the people.
Hmm.
And trust me, I was that person. I was scared to go to the gym because I didn't know anything about exercising. I didn't know how to use machines. Until this day, I won't even lie. I'm still scared of stretching in the mats in front of people. I won't even do that. Like I'll just stretch on the machine. So yeah, I'll do that a little because I'm still shy, right? But just like going to the gym, it helps you so much, and
It does. And you know what? I
like
get it. I
yeah,
get it because I felt the same way before I did my fitness journey, like going even running. I'd cover myself completely, like in sweats and hoodie and hat and glasses. And, at the gym, I totally would be in a corner hiding. So
yeah,
I get it. But then you realize sooner or later that most people at the gym, I don't want to say 100%, but most people at the gym are paying attention to themselves.
yes, yes. You're right. You're making me realize. Yeah, I was like that. I was like so scared of everybody. The first thing I was like, I was trying to fix myself, trying to look nice, but then you look like trash when you're coming out of the gym, right? You're all sweaty and
Right.
everything. So like nobody cares, right? And
No.
that's going back to like you shouldn't care. You shouldn't care about what other people think or say about you. Like you're there for yourself, for your benefit, and to grow, right? So it's like don't worry about the people. They have no effect on your life, right? They
Right.
have they're not gonna be there next week. They're not gonna like be there when you're gone. It doesn't matter. So yeah, so I always recommend people to do something different. It's important. And you never know if you're gonna start a new journey because of it, you know?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
shit, you don't know. Like maybe you'll meet the love of your life at the corner of a, I don't know, at the coffee shop or something. You never know.
That
You
is
never
true.
know. So yeah, I always push everybody to do something because your mind is your worst enemy, and sitting in your thoughts is just gonna destroy you mentally. It's just gonna, that overthinking. I believe it's a disease. It's a symptom of depression, and if you don't break that cycle, you're just gonna drown. You just gotta break that. You gotta break that. You have to rewire your brain, the way you think about yourself, the way you do things in life. You have to be a little bit more positive, and and to be honest, a little side note, but I feel like people who are always negative are the people that are just like the most miserable ever.
Yes.
Like the people that complain so much about everything, like, oh my God, I gotta do this, or like, oh my God, they're treating me this way, or like, whatever, like negative. It's just like they gotta be the most miserable people. And
I
and that's
I agree.
a lot of us do it, right? We always complain, right? We will always complain for the rest of our lives, but doing it so often, like even if we don't think about it, right? When we complain so much, we're just miserable. We're always in a bad mood. We just like, I don't know. It's just a bad vibe. You
Yeah,
know?
who wants to be that though, you know? Who wants to walk
Exactly.
around like giving off negative energy?
Yeah, like you don't want to be those couples that you see in retail. They're arguing, and they're like, oh, what do you want? I don't care. Just grab whatever you want. And, like you don't want to be those people. Like
No,
like you got to change that. And And a lot of it goes back to just like finding yourself. And like when you find yourself, you're going to attract people that you are who you are, right? If you're positive, you're going to attract positive people, you
right.
know? And trust me, it just goes all back down to finding yourself and your purpose. And and we're going to continue doing that for the rest of our lives, right? We're going to go through constant change. You're going to change when you have a kid, right? I'm sure you changed a lot when you had a kid, right? Your mindset changed a lot.
Yes.
It wasn't just all about me, it's about my children now, right? I assume
Yes.
that. So
Correct.
you're going through so many changes, and it's going to be like that forever.
Yes.
Forever. You
That's
never know
life.
what life is going to throw at you.
That is life.
Yeah.
It's never ending. There's always something to, just things happen, right? Flat tire, um, the rent goes up, stuff like that in life happens. And you need to just figure a way to get through it and survive.
Yes.
That's just how it is. And it's up to you if you're gonna do it and survive happily or if you're gonna be negative.
Exactly.
I feel like it's a thing though. It's like almost I always say this too. It's figure out how you said find yourself. Figure out what you wanna be, right? And do everything that you can do to be that and say no to everything that is not.
I agree. I agree. I always tell people, don't get discouraged when you go through these heartbreaks, when you go through these challenges in life, right? Don't don't let yourself down, because like your life is gonna constantly hit you with stuff, right? Some people end up with cancer, right? And their life changed forever when they're in their 40s or 50s or 30s or whatever. Like you just don't know. But if you just have a positive mindset, even if you know it's gonna end up bad or whatever, I think life is about enjoying the little moments and the good moments, Because if you just live life looking at everything so bad, like that's just like terrible, Like, what's the point, you know?
Right.
Um. So yeah,
That's how people just dig the hole deeper for themselves and get,
yeah,
deeper into depression and unhappiness. So that's why it is important to find things you like to do because life is life and there's always going to be something to fix or do or catch up with. So you got to have those things that you enjoy doing that make you and your inner self happy.
I have a question. Have you been to therapy?
Um, when I was younger, I have,
Okay.
but I feel like I'm just very spiritual. Like so,
Oh,
I
okay. Oh, that's gonna lead me to a topic about purpose and everything. When you were talking about things happen and whatever. I always look at life as things happen for a reason. And maybe you had a flat tire because, maybe there was going to be an accident in the front or, you know,
Right.
you just don't know. And that's
Exactly.
going back to being positive, optimistic about your mindset. You always look at, if you're late to work, it's for a reason. I like to look at it that way. Because why stress yourself out? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't don't like stress yourself out from all this negativity in the world. Stuff happens. It's okay. You always try to do better next time, and that's just how life is, right? You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're gonna make mistakes. Um, so yeah, and like even if you spent years with somebody, that doesn't mean your life is gonna end, right? This is the opportunity to like take time to heal and like do something different, right? Because
Right.
everything in life is a lesson. Everything in life,
Yes.
and that's what I'm saying. Like just just do it. Do it. Take time to heal. If you're going through a tough time, it's okay. We all go through tough times. What I like to say to myself is we all have the same problems, but from different angles.
Right.
And that's how I view it.
And then we handle them differently. Each person handles them differently.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yeah, like I will say I've been thinking about this. I really haven't done anything, but I wanted to take this like more spiritual journey because I don't know. A lot of people, I don't know if anybody's really like Christian, Catholic, whatever it is, but we all believe in something, right? Um, I've always wanted to, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of just let it be in God's hands because we always try to make everything so perfect, right? And we always try to fix things on our own. But it's like sometimes you just have to let it be, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the way I want to look at it. I want to find peace within something else and not through other stuff. And yeah. So like I want to take the spiritual journey and, find my purpose through there as well, you know?
Right.
That's something that I want to do. Um, I don't know. I think it's just beautiful to like go through different journeys, and there's nothing wrong with trying a million things. What are some advices that we can give people to find purpose? Do you have any advices that you would give to people?
I mean, I think pretty much what we went over was like try different things. You might run into something that you like, not knowing that you would. Don't give up. So if it's something that you really love to do, and it doesn't go your way right away, get up and do it, keep trying.
Yeah,
I mean, and then make yourself happy, make sure with all the responsive, because we do, there's a certain point you need to be responsible, like how you're saying, being late and whatnot, you got to be responsible enough to get up for your job and know there might be traffic. So you time yourself to leave and get there in time. But if something happens on the way that sets you back, don't stress out and like run everybody over because you're going to be late. Like leave that in God's hands. You're late for a reason.
yeah, I
So
agree.
don't stress out about that and find yourself other things to do that
Yeah.
make you happy.
Yes, that's just like I spoke about my journey. You just don't know what's gonna happen. You can change your life by reading a book, going to therapy, motorcycle, going to the gym, whatever it
Yes.
is. Like you can find purpose through that, right? And to whoever feels lost, it's okay to feel like that because we still feel like that, right? And we're still trying to find something that's going to make us fulfilling and happy. But it's okay to feel like you also want to chase something higher. And that's okay because we all want to develop, become better people. And then you adapt, right? You're going to get to experience. Maybe one day y'all have families and stuff. And you're going to have even more difficult problems to face. So it's
Exactly.
important to like continue growing, experience new things, and be prepared for, really anything.
Yes,
So
and for the setbacks, just know that you can get through it. Don't give up. Keep
yes,
pushing.
and it's okay to look for help, right? I had to look for help because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no purpose. I didn't know what I was, where I was going to start with my journey. and I went to therapy, and I honestly I thought that it was not going to help me. I thought it was a waste of time and money. But surprisingly, it just opened a whole new world to me, and you just have to be willing. You have to have an open mind, right?
Right.
You can't start a new journey with a negative mind. You can't start a new journey with already just minimal effort. You have to put in your all, and in order for you to reach your potential, you have to push yourself,
Yeah.
right? And that goes to even, working out or life, anything.
Yes.
Um, so yeah. Um, so that's my advice for people. Thank you to everybody who's listening. I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I hope this sets kind of a peace of mind for people who have felt like they are still trying to look for themselves and they're tired of looking. So I hope this kind of sets ease into your overthinking. Um, yeah. So I appreciate you guys listening. Like, comment, and subscribe whether you're listening on Spotify, YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate it, Moana. Thank you so
Thank,
much again.
thank you for having me again on
Yes,
episode 2 of your podcast. Was happy to be here, had fun. Thank you everyone who joined, and don't forget to check out the merch.
yes. Merch, merch, merch. Use your codes. Use your codes. Oh, giveaway. There's a giveaway. So I will be announcing a public giveaway for everybody to join. All you're gonna have to do is follow the new merch page, like and comment done. That will be dropping, I would say, in beginning of April. So April 1st will be dropping. The entire month it will be open, and the winner will be announced at the end of the month. I want everybody to have a chance to join, to get the opportunity to get that merch t-shirt. Stay purple. That's the top
Bye.
seller right now. So, you're everywhere. Your face is everywhere, Mona. So, so yeah, so we'll be announcing that soon. Um,
Exciting.
yes, yes,
That is an awesome giveaway. I'm
yes,
excited.
yes. That's gonna be so much fun. So yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening, and until the next one, thank you.